September 23rd. Diary. My parents are absolutely and positively going to make me blow my mind. I have to take Dexies to say hi at school and at work and on dates and to do my homework. And then I have to take tranquilizers to bear up at home. Daddy thinks I'm blowing his image as the college dean. He even yelled at me at the table last night for saying man. He has his words when he wants to stress a point, and that is all right. But let me say man, and you'd think I'd committed the unpardonable sin. Chris and I are about to get ready to cut out. She has a friend in San Francisco who could help us get a job. And since we've both had experience in a boutique, it shouldn't be that hard. Besides, her parents are about ready for a divorce. They do nothing but fight when they're together, and she's had it. At least I don't have to put up with that. Also, Roger says he's too busy to write much, which is an unlikely story. Like Chris says, a man's blood soon runs cold, where there is no one around to warm it up. September 28th. Last night was the night, my friend. I finally smoked pot, and it was even greater than I expected. Last night after work, Chris fixed me up with a college friend of hers who I knew'd been on acid, etc., but who wanted to turn me on to hash. He told me not to expect to feel like I felt with liquor, and I told him I never had more than champagne at my birthday parties and left over from cocktail parties. We all got hilarious over that, and Ted, Chris's date, said that lots of kids never try booze, not only because it's their parents' thing, but because it's a lot harder to get them pot. Ted said that when he first started experimenting, he found he could steal a lot of money from his parents, and they would never miss it. But let him take one swig out of any of their booze bottles, and it was as they had measured it to the ounce. Then Richie showed me how to smoke. I've never even had a cigarette. He gave me a small orientational lecture, like I should listen for small things. I wouldn't ordinarily hear and just relax. At first I took too deep a drag and almost choked to death. So Richie told me to suck in open mouth gulps to mix as much air in as possible. But that didn't work too well either. After a while, Ted gave up and brought the hookah pipe. It seemed funny and exotic, but at first I couldn't get any smoke. I felt cheated because the other three were obviously stoned. But finally, it started to work. And just when I thought it never would, I really began to feel happy and free as a bright canary chirping through the open, endless heavens. And I was so relaxed. I don't think I've been that relaxed in my whole entire life. It was really beautiful. Later, Rich brought a sheepskin rug out of his room, and we began walking through the thickness of it, and there was a sensation in my feet that was totally incredible. Softness that enveloped my complete body, and quite suddenly I couldn't hear the strange, almost silent sound of the long, silky hairs rubbing against each other and my feet. It was a sound unsimilar to any I have ever felt, and I remember trying desperately to give a description upon the phenomenon of each individual hair, having perfect pitch within itself. But of course I couldn't. It was too perfect. Then I picked up a salted peanut and noticed that nothing had ever tasted so salty before. It felt like being a child again and trying to swim in the Great Salt Lake. Only the peanut was even saltier. My liver and my spleen and my intestines were corroded with salt. I longed to taste the French peach or strawberry and have the flavor and sweetness of delicabliss. Delicabliss? What the heck? Of them consume me also. It was great, and I began to laugh in a total mad way. I was delighted that I was so different. Everyone in the whole universe was mad except me. I was the only sane and perfect being. Somewhere in my brain I remembered reading 1,000 years with a man is a day with the Lord, and I had found the answer. I was even now in my new time length living the lives of 1,000 men in the space hours. Later, we were all very thirsty and dying for something sweet, so we walked to the ice cream shop, joking about the incredible high curbs and the unbelievable, oddly shaped moon which kept it changing shapes and colors. I don't know if we were all really as high as we said we were, but it was fun. And in the restaurant, we joked and laughed as though the whole world and its secrets belonged to us alone. When Richie brought me home after midnight, my parents, who were both up, were very pleased with the nice, young, clean-cut gentleman gentlemanly young man I was going out with. They didn't even complain about what time it was. Can you believe it? P.S. Richie gave me some joints to smoke when I'm alone, and I want to be in heaven. Isn't that nice, nice, nice? October 5th. Chris and I are thinking about quitting our jobs because it's getting so close that we don't have any time for what we want to do. I'm deeply in love with Richie, and Chris is in love with Ted, and we want to spend as much time with them as we can. The bitch is that none of us ever seem to have enough money, so Chris and I have both had to push a little pot. Of course, we only sell to kids who are heavy users, and who would just buy it for someone else if they didn't get it from us. Ted and Richie are in college, they have to work a lot harder than we do in high school, so they don't have the time to sell. And besides, it's a lot easier for guys to get busted than girls. At first, it was pretty hard to keep my cool around the establishment, but since now I'm Richie's chick all the way, I have to do what I can to help him.